So today's warm-up again is on finding a percent change using a proportion. In today's problem, we have a situation about the increase in gas. So when Mrs. De Silva started driving, it used to cost about 79 cents per gallon. Gas now costs about $2.39 per gallon. What is the percent change? And of course, we were told here to show our work using a proportion. So we have the original and we have what it is now. So to keep in mind that we're looking at change. So in order to find the change, we need to find the difference. That means we're finding the difference. We need to remember, in order to find a difference, that means we subtract. So the two numbers that we have are $2.39 and 79 cents. Now, we know that 79 cents came first, but it doesn't matter because we're simply finding the difference. So when I subtract the two of those, $2.39 minus 79 cents, I get $1.60 as the difference, or the increase, right? Now, I know that whenever I set up these problems, that I set it up with the change, or the change in the price, the change in the weight, change in whatever it is, in this case it's price, over the original, in this case, price. Now, you might want to remind yourself that in this case, it went up from 79 cents to $2.39, so I'll even put in parentheses here, increase, because I know some of you like to actually indicate it here so that you don't forget what it is. So that is the change or increase over the original equal to the percent over 100. And that's always standard. It's always out of 100, right? A percent is always out of 100. So again, remember we found that difference already. The change is $1.60, 160, over the original. Now this is what seems weird and confusing, is that the original is much smaller than the increase. Our original remains 79 cents. Or 0.79. We set that up to x over 100 because it's the percent that we don't know. Of course, this we're going to solve just like any other one of these problems we've ever done before. We cross multiply, so we've got 0.79 times x equals 1.60 times 100. I multiply that, I get 0.79x equals 160. I solve that by dividing both sides by 0.79. Those cancel out because they're the same. I'm going to go over here so I have room. So I have x equals, and of course I'm going to use my calculator to do 160 divided by 0.79. You're going to find it's going to equal this big long number. It's going to equal 202.5316, and it goes on like this. That is a 6 there, okay? And it goes on. Now, a lot of you are looking at that and going, how can I have 202%? Mrs. De Silva, that doesn't make sense. Some people said that to me today. And it really does, because remember, our original price was this 79 cents. And if I compare 79 cents to $1.60, it's a little more than double. Around that 79 cents to 80. 80 times 2 is $1.60, and look at that, that's what it is. So this does in fact make sense, even though it seems weird that we would have a percent so much larger than 100%. So now we can round this. Really, it doesn't matter which one you round it to because it was not specified in the problem. So let's just look at each of them. If I wanted to round it to the thousandths place, right there, the 1, I would look at the 6. This would therefore become 202.532%. If I wanted to instead round it to the hundredths place, that is a 2. Let me fix that. If I wanted to round it instead to the hundredths place, that would be the 3. I'd be looking at the 1. That would be 202.53% because the 1 is less than 5. If I wanted to round it to the tenths place, I'm going to be looking at that 3. So the 5 remains the same. That would be 202.5%. Now, the only one really that would end up going up is if I rounded it to the nearest percent. I have to look at the 5, and the 5 tells me to round up. That would be 203%. You don't even have to write all 4 of these if you do not in your notes, completely up to you, but any one of these would be correct, depending upon where you rounded your answer to. So, again, our gas increase was about 203%.